Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have completely triggered a good portion of the MAGA crowd. This is all over legal immigration and hiring foreign workers to take what is considered American jobs. Well, they are American jobs because they are for American companies. Now, there is a ton of facets to this conversation. I'm going to take a look at a few of them and just kind of take a look, see what's going on. First up is this tweet from Vivek. This tweet is massive. It's very long. And he goes places in. So the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native, meaning people born in America, Americans, isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. So this is Vivek Ramaswamy's idea of how we're going to fix this country's culture. Something that I think a lot of people might feel need to happen. Literally everyone talks about the culture war. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. There is a lot to be said about how your development as a person when you're younger, much younger, even before high school. The culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. This smells a little bit of some jealousy, Vivek. You're not wrong, but where's this coming from? A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. I did go as Halloween as one of those characters, and it was Steve Urkel. Steve Urkel was awesome. I did not like Stefan. But, I was different. I also was a bit of a nerd. And then he goes on with this little side bit here. Fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. You know what? I also know American families that did the same thing. There's American families doing the same thing now. So what's your point? There's a lot of American families that aren't letting their kids watch TV. He makes another point to that. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. I agree. Honestly, I don't know what Whiplash is, but Friends is a waste of time. This is promoting doing things. And actually, you know what? As a parent, that's also great for just your relationship with your children, not just their, you're putting into your kids, that it's more than just that experience of of them actually doing it, but it's you being there for them is what's helping grow them as a person. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents, the ones who are limiting the TV and stuff. And he's not wrong. There is a weird thing about parents who actually limit even what a kid consumes. The idea that you don't let your 9-year-old watch rated R movies is wild. No, it's not. But a lot of people think that way. I personally don't think you should be letting a 9-year-old watch a rated R movie. That's just me, though. Anyhow, more normal American kids view those kind of kids with scorn. Scorn's an interesting word to use there. I don't know if scorn's the right word. They might tease them, but scorn is almost contempt and hatred. So that's odd. But they'll make fun of them. That's for sure. If they're kids, they make fun of anything that's different. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raise their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. I honestly can't do that because I was one of the kids in the 90s and I don't know any of the kids that I knew from back in the 90s. So I can't say anything to that. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. If we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. We need people who are skilled. We need skilled people, and normalcy is not necessarily skilled. But you can exist within this range of being normal and being skilled. Like you know what I mean? Like you could still be that jock. You could be that quarterback of the football team and still do really well in school. And actually, fuck school. I taught myself how to code without going to school. I got a job in engineering with, I have like 3 associate's degrees, but that's just the way that the program worked out. I was there for 3 years. I picked up 3 associate's degree all in my last semester because that's how the program I was in worked. But I don't work in where my degree is. My degree is technically computer networking, and it's only an associate's degree, but I am a software quality automation engineer. It's not just the schools. A lot of people think this is all about we need to fix the schools, and they're not wrong. But anyhow, so this can be your Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before, and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellency over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. He's not wrong. That's the work we've cut out for ourselves rather than wallowing in victimhood or just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence. I'm confident we can do it. Nowhere in this tweet did Vivek Ramaswamy call for H1-B hires to expand that program. He didn't call for anything of the sort. All he did, he might have called Americans lazy. Now, that's up to your interpretation. And you can't tell me that there isn't at least a portion of America that isn't lazy. That's just a human thing, right? Like, that doesn't matter where you're from. That will happen to people. And you know what? There are people who will go through phases of their life. Everyone will go through a phase of their life where they might be more lazy than they normally are and stuff like that, right? Like, this is just a human thing. But the big thing is no one, Vivek Ramaswamy, did not call for an expansion of the H1-B visa program. He didn't call for anything like that. He was just calling out the culture in a way that a lot of people didn't like, but I think they got offended. And if you got offended by this, you might need to look at yourself and see, do you feel like maybe you are a little lazy? Maybe in the back of your mind, something's bothering you and you're like, ooh, that hurt my feelings because it's true. Check it out. Look into it. I pulled up something else. I was like, all right, when's the last time Vivek talked about H1-B visas? I got this tweet from September 18th of 2023. So over a year ago. He says, Politico tried to play a gotcha by saying, I want to gut the H1-B system, even though my companies have used it to hire foreign graduates from top U.S. universities. Well, U.S. energy sector regulations are badly broken, but I still use water and electricity. This is not what you think it is, Vivek. Turns out I actually understand the things I want to reform. The foreign visa lottery and is senseless, and the H1-B regime is a form of indentured servitude that's a product of corporate lobbying. I'll finally fix it. So this is while he was still running for president. But he says it's a form of indentured servitude. I think he was implying how these people come from all these different areas, and it's not just India, you retards. They come from Costa Rica too. They come from Taiwan. They come from all over the world on the H1-B visa. I've met Vietnamese people on H1-B visas. I've worked with a ton of people on H1-B visas. Fucking Korea. They come from all over. But the weirdos focused on India on Twitter. That was kind of a self-tell on yourself as well. So this is what he claimed 2 years ago, that he would like to fix the abuse of the H1-B visa program. Now, Elon Musk has been a complete jackass. Elon Musk tweeted. Elon Musk tweeted this out, and I'm calling it tweets because post just isn't as fun. That's all that comes down to. Post is boring, tweets are fun. Anyhow, the immigration hot button topic is the biggest DKE situation I've ever seen. So he corrects himself with legal immigration. I'm slightly glad he did that, because we do need to go back to defining that, right? We need to go back into this is legal and this is illegal. That matters. And then so someone came down here and explained what the Dunning-Kruger effect was. Dunning-Kruger effect has entered the chat. So this is the people who talk out of ignorance, and then the cultured people who might just who know a little bit and might just kind of like stay quiet. And then there's the expert who has the right opinion, right? And so he's saying that the loudest voices know the least. So the people complaining. So he's calling a bunch of people who were complaining about him talking about immigration or talking about the immigration H1B visas and stuff. He's calling y'all ignorant, and he doesn't stop there. So Autism Capital, I can talk. So Autism Capital, which is an account that Elon Musk regularly retweets out. He brings up their stuff fairly often. They tweeted out, so basically the right split into two factions, tech right and the right. The tech right is like, hey, we need H1B visas to do the jobs. And the right was like, no, you need to hire Americans. And the tech right is like, but you guys are retarded. And the right is like, well, you don't train us. And the tech right is like, well, you can't out-train being retarded. While all this was going on, we've learned some people really don't like India. Yeah, this tweet is spot on. Look, we do need to reform education. We need a massive reformation on education. It has been ass since before I was in the education system as a child. The American education system is complete garbage, needs to be completely burned down to the ground and somehow rebuilt in a way that I don't know what's best. But I will tell you one thing. You need a little bit more hands-on stuff for the boys. Just say it. And then Elon Musk said, that pretty much sums it up. This was eye-opening. Saying that everyone who disagreed with him is a retard and can't be trained to not be retarded. Elon Musk is terrible at knowing how to read the room. Elon Musk is absolutely horrible at being able to relate to people. We all know he's got the spectrum thing going on. Social skills are not high on his capabilities, shall we say. He's definitely has a personality, but he doesn't know how to deal with people all that well. And you know what? I don't know if he's ever really had to figure that out, because he's always just done his own thing, right? And then now he is who he is. And so it's very easy for him to not have to try and figure people out and just let them have to mold around him, because he's the guy, right? Anyhow, not an excuse. Elon, you could do a lot better. This is disgusting behavior. But anyways, once again, nothing really coming out of the H1B conversation. So the only thing I could figure out that triggered this whole conversation, I went to Grok. I was like, what started this? And they're talking about how like MAGA people were talking about, MAGA influencers were talking about whatever. Grok even called Nikki Haley a MAGA influencer. But the main one it pointed out was Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer's a weirdo. She is a nut job, and she gets it right. She's like the broken clock, right? So she had this tweet. Nobody can afford to live off $70,000 a year. in today's America. I don't know if that's true. Anyhow, stop crying about declining birth rates when you want us to live like a bunch of welfare queens. That's a shot at Elon Musk. Can't have a family and keep having more kids while making $70K a year and also working 80 hours a week. Okay, I will agree with this. Can't have a family and keep having more kids while making $70K. That's not possible. Where she gets this 80 hours a week, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if there's something in the Tesla job descriptions for their job postings that it says, hey, we need you to work 70 to 80 hours a week. I don't know where she gets that number. But if that's the case, if these people are being required to work that many hours, that's wrong. I don't care. I don't care what country they're from. That's not cool, dude. And then she goes on to say you can make more money working for 40 hours a week and overtime at McDonald's each year. That's doing the same exact thing you were just talking about above. You cannot raise a family making all that money, making just a little bit more than $70K a year and the overtime, right? You see what I'm saying, Laura? Dumb. And so she's got this picture here. Now, these are supposedly the H1-B salaries from, I think, Tesla. Oh, I'm not going to do it like that. That's bad. We're looking at it from here. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but so she mentioned $70K specifically. Well, there's not a job on here that pays less than $73,000. And really, the only jobs in the $70,000 range are the first, 6 of them? And 4 of them are the engineer development program engineer, where they pay just under $79,000 in Austin, Texas. And to me, that sounds like an internship. That sounds like a beginning position. That sounds like an entry position. Now, there's a conversation to be had about giving an entry position to an H1-B employee as opposed to a college graduate or something, or someone who has proved their worth in making their own projects or something to earn a position in a what could be considered entry-level job. Why are we giving those to what is supposed to be the top elite of the 0.1% coming from these other countries for the brain drain? I'm smelling a little hypocrisy here, Mr. Musk. I'm smelling a little bullshit, Mr. Musk. I want to go to, there was another one. There was an associate QA engineer, which is the entry-level job for the associate quality engineer from above. This is in Austin, Texas. They pay $88,000 a year for that. This is another entry-level position, and they're getting paid $88,000. My entry-level QA engineer paid me $45,000 a year. Now, granted, this was like 8-9 years ago, maybe 10, but you see, like that's pretty fucking good. That's double from what I was making 10 years ago. The entry-level ones, anything that's tagged with associate, the wages are fair. Now, anything that's outside, like the quality engineer, $81K, I would say that that's fair. If that's the position I think it is, if that's the quality engineer job the quality engineers that I know, right? I don't know what Tesla or X considers a quality engineer in their company. All these titles really mean nothing because they're all defined in different ways under each of the different companies, especially when they put engineer on it. So a project manager for $85K in Sparks, Nevada, that seems like the going rate. Maybe a little bit more if you've got more experience, that type of thing. But I don't think these these wages are unfair for the most part. Now, if we want to talk more about like getting into actual development and stuff like that, then we can have a conversation, because these would be low, I would feel, for an actual development job. Associate chemical process engineer, $90K. That's an entry-level job that you're giving to an H1-B visa worker. That's not cool, Mr. Musk. That's not cool. Now, I will say, if they are actually requiring these people who are working at these wages to work anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week, say 65, 70% of the year, that's not cool either. Like, that we're talking about the slave labor at that point in time. We're talking about legalized, is it slave labor? They're cheaping out. They are refusing to hire Americans because they want cheap work. And that's not MAGA, Elon. That's not what the MAGA movement's about by any means. You want to talk about how Americans need to get good? I won't necessarily disagree on that to an extent. Being in tech, if you're not regularly trying to get good, you're going to find yourself out of a job anyways. That's how it works. Continuous education is important in the tech industry. Right now, I'm spending a lot of time trying to figure out AI so it doesn't take my fucking job. Now, none of this matters because you know what really matters? What really matters is what Mr. Donald Trump has to say about all of this. Now, I went and I asked Grok, I was like, all right, what was Donald Trump's position on the H1-B visas during his first term? And this is what it gave me. It's pretty long out here, but we'll just read this. We'll read this bottom part here. Overall, Trump's administration aimed to tighten the H1-B visa program, focusing on protecting American workers by raising employment standards and reducing the perceived abuse of the visa system. Although these changes met with legal challenges, go figure. Trump tried to get something done and it was met with legal challenges, and did not always result in the anticipated reduction of visa numbers. As I've stated, I have been working in tech for something like 10 years. The H1B visa numbers have increased under every single president since I've been doing this, from Obama, Trump, Biden. Like, this is just part of the thing. And you know what? MAGA is all about picking themselves up by the bootstraps. Let's do it. Prove these people wrong. Yeah. Is the system working against you? What else is new? This happens. Yes, we voted for something in, but you know what? Also, nothing's even happened. It all matters what Donald Trump says. Fuck Elon. Fuck Vivek. They need to focus on cutting the spending of the government. That's what they should be worried about. Of course, they got to worry about their bottom lines as well, but let's not be so douchey about it next time. I got this clip from Trump from CNN. This was probably this is the Republican presidential debate.
The H1-B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for work.
Once again, admitting that this is a bad idea, but I use it because I can, because the system lets me.
And second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman, and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad. It's very bad for business in terms of, it's very bad for our workers, and it's unfair for our workers, and we should end it.
So we'll see if we get more of that. I don't know if Trump addresses any of this. It might be best to just kind of ignore it and just let things be, just do your thing, Trump. Do what you got to do. Let's close the border. Let's get rid of some of these criminals that have come in here. Let's get rid of all of these criminals that have come in here. Otherwise, yeah, tell me down below in the comments, what do you think of this situation? I know my take might ruffle some feathers, and that's fine. I am willing to have a great conversation about this. So hit me up. Let me know. Find me. You can leave a comment down below. You can find me on Twitter at IamStatic2020. So look me up. Hit the thumbs up button for me. And, if you haven't already, push that subscribe button. It doesn't hurt. Costs nothing. Thank you for watching. And until next time, have a good one.